if it were the right thing to do for Pennsylvania workers' family, not for an offer.
But do you feel that you needed to disclose this to Pennsylvania voters?
Well, I did. When I was asked the question, I answered it, and for my role in it. And you know, today the White House talked about the rest of it.
Do you think that any of this sort of washes up on your campaign in any way? Again, not that you necessarily did something wrong, but just because we've been dealing with this in the past news cycle, and we'll continue to hear about this in the coming days, that this impacts your campaign?
No, not at all. Look, people, come on up with me, those 67 counties. They're not worried about Joe Sestak's job. They're worried about their job. I mean, I honestly believe Washington, D.C. forgets about them. I'll never forget the farmer, Potter County. When I asked him, what was the recession last July, when I was trying to decide whether to get in or not, said, not too bad. I was hurting so much already. But I'll tell you, I think Washington, D.C. better focus on them. And that's all we've done in our campaign, is keep the focus on them. Yes, ma'am.
For clarification, why didn't you tell this clear of a story when you were on Meet the Press Dispatch weekend?
Because I didn't feel it was right for me, after being called by a former president of the United States, to talk about the details of that conversation.
Now spoken to Rom in the last 6 months to a year.
Not at all.
You never spoke
No.
about anything?
No. Last time I saw Rom was, I think it was March a year ago. They were hauling over people there to about the impending health care bill, and I shook his hand and said, hi, Rom. He said, how you doing, Joe?
During this conversation with President Clinton, at any point did you feel like the former president was crossing the line by making this offer?
Absolutely not.
Congressman, if it wasn't inappropriate, it's still maybe a little hard for some of us to understand why you couldn't just reveal, and the many, many times you were asked, anything about the conversation, the fact that it was President Clinton you had the conversation with.
Yeah,
It wasn't inappropriate.
I honestly didn't feel that it was right for me. I didn't feel comfortable at all talking about a former president of the United States who had called me to talk about something.
Congressman?
But I did, when I was asked about my role, answer that.
You run on transparency. I mean, that's such a huge part
Yes, and
of the campaign.
I'm
So
sorry,
why is that-
I interrupted.
I'm sorry.
No, I do interrupt. Go ahead.
It's such a big part of your campaign, your position is to be transparent. I just don't understand. Can you explain that further? Why you couldn't disclose that it was President?
But it was. When I was asked a question, and by the way, I never put that out there. Someone asked me a question in February about something that happened 8 months or 7 months earlier. And I was, yes, about my personal accountability in some issue that mattered. And I did.
But what about the
clarify
appearance
exactly
here?
what it was? Could you clarify?
Yeah, at the time, I heard the words presidential board. But that's all I heard. And it didn't matter what it was. I would have not, it wasn't anything else, and I just said, Mr. President, as I said to you, I almost interrupted, Mr. President, I'm not, no, I said.
So at the time, you never really knew exactly
No.
what the job was.
I heard presidential and board, and and that was kind of what I heard, and it was about like either intelligence or defense. It was like, but I wasn't interested, and that was the bottom line.
How close is your relationship with Bill Clinton? Can you just talk about your admiration for him? And
I have great respect and admiration for President Clinton.
what about
I do.
talk to him just on politics, on...
Look, I don't want to overplay it. I mean, I was just at the NSC as I was a Navy captain, and but he calls every so often, and just to check in, how's the race going? And
Give you advice?
I asked him for advice. Yeah, I think some of you may know, I was sitting in his home down in Georgetown when the issue about Arlen Specter switching parties came up, asking for his, final stuff just before I announced. At that time I was about to announce when Arlen Specter was still a Republican. Look, I remember when he, my daughter had a brain tumor and I was out one day with her and he called and, and she heard me talk. He says, is that the president, Mr. President Clinton? And he said, yeah, can I talk? And he literally talked to her for 5 minutes on the phone. Well, yeah. I have great respect and admiration for him.
Congressman, what about the appearance here? The White House called your brother. And people read things into that.
Yeah, they called my brother to say, we just want you to know about, we're going to put out they're doing a review, and just want you to see if, set up when they're going to go out, let you know when they're going to go out, and to let you just, give you a heads up of what it's going to say if you have any comments.
Is there
on it.
nothing untoward there?
No, my brother was just a conduit of it.
Does this undermine your ability to run as a Washington outsider?
Because somebody from Washington called me. I'm hoping to go right over there and work very well with people, never with a compromise of principle, but with a principled compromise. And I do believe that principle should triumph over politics. No, not at all. Not at all.
Now that the details are out about this, do you think this is going to die out or go away anytime soon as an issue?
Yeah, look, you're from Pennsylvania. You know people don't care about this up there.
Do you know that Darrell Issa has called for an FBI?
They do care about their jobs that they're holding on to, or the ones they've lost.
Darrell Issa has called for an FBI investigation. Do you think anything will come of that?
Yes, sir.
Did you find it odd that they offered you a job on a presidential commission? Does that seem like I don't know, too little to dissuade someone?
I didn't even think about it. I just and honest. I've got to make a decision.
It's not of value at all.
I didn't even think about it. I didn't even know what it was exactly. I heard presidential board, and I think it was Intel.
Did he make clear to you that they wanted you to keep your House seat?
Yeah, they said. He said, Joe, if you stay in the House, Rahm had brought up, being appointed to. Presidential board, and that's one to your question, sir. I almost interrupted. I think I did a little bit. I wasn't rude, and said, Mr. President, no, and that.
Thank you very much.
Look, I'm sorry I kept you until this. I hope you don't mind. Just wanted to do it once because the next 2 days I promised Alex. I'm literally just taking 2 days with her, and I appreciate letting me do it here because I promised her after this race I'd take 2 whole days. But on Monday I'm at parades, and I'll be back out there. All right? Thank you very much.
All right. Well, Joe Sestak confirming that President Bill Clinton did, in fact, talk to him to get.